Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the series where we look at practical and sensible cars which you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2018 Vauxhall Corsa E 1.4 turbo limited edition. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Corsa E, which was a very heavily facelifted version of the Corsa D, was introduced in 2014. A lot of the cars used the same engines as the Corsa D, variations on the old General Motors Family Zero engine that had been introduced in the mid-1990s. In the Corsa E, these were a 1.2 with 69 horsepower that didn't actually last that long, a 1.4 with either 73 or 89 horsepower in naturally aspirated models, or 99 or 148 horsepower in the turbos, a 1.6 with 208 horsepower, and then two 1 litre 3-cylinder engines that are known as the General Motors small gasoline engine, with either 94 or 108 horsepower. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. We do talk about instead is actually the way in which this car is pretty nice to drive, really. If you don't have to use this silly city button here to make the steering incredibly light, which I'm going to just do now. Yeah, that's not really helping you, just turn that off. Then it's pretty good. This limited edition model, which is basically like a warm version of the Corsa VXR and then the GSI, isn't too bad. It's only got 99 horsepower, so it's not the fastest thing in the world, but we have got a 6-speed gearbox, which is nice. I suppose the equivalent to this in the Fiesta range would be the ST line or something like that. One thing I've noticed though is it's not got the most amount of torque, so it just bogged down a little bit. In 2018, all the engines, apart from the 1.4s, were dropped due to PSA taking over Vauxhall and Opel and the high licensing costs of having that 1 litre engine, which they decided to keep for themselves. General Motors. Yeah, it's pretty nice to drive, really, this. I can see why you have somebody, maybe a younger person, who jump in this and think it was absolutely fabulous, although I'm a little bit old that kind of thing now, viewers. I've always liked the look of these Corsa E's ever since they came out in 2014. I actually think in many ways the Corsa E is a better car than the Corsa F that replaced it at the end of 2019. So based on the previous generation Corsa, the Corsa D, which came out in 2006, although fundamentally quite different looking, I don't think really many of the panels are the same, if at all. Completely different front end. Glass house I think is similar, but different rear end. For this limited edition, which is quite a late one, I think this came out around the time that they discontinued many of the engines, and so only the variations on the 1.4 Family Zero engine were available by this time. Not so fond of the black wheels, but the rest of it I think looks okay. I'm obviously not the target audience for a car like this. It'd be a much younger person normally who'd be driving around in a limited edition Corsa like this. I still think it looks pretty nice. I think it's a handsome car. I think we did a good job with the fact that actually this isn't a complete redesign. It is actually just a very, very heavy facelift. I think it looks pretty good. Parking sensors on this particular car. Let's open up the back. Unfortunately, my dealer plate has fallen off here, so I shall have to do something about that before I go for another drive. Lift this up. Have we got a spare wheel? No, we don't. There's a tyre inflation kit. Rubbish. Never mind. We also don't have any fabric on the back of the seat, and it's it's just a fixed seat. It's not a 60-40 split one. A bit mean, really. Boot's about 285 litres, which at the time was typical for a car like this. A Fiesta was very, very similar. Either a Mark 7 or a Mark 8, both were on sale during the production life of the Corsa E. I think Mr. Manning from the Matty's Cars channel is going to want me to get in the back, which I don't really want to do, but I shall. On the Corsa D, the VXR's seats tend to disintegrate a bit and fall apart. This seems to be okay. We pull this forward a bit, there we go. Right, okay Mr. Manning, this is for you. Let's see what happens. So far so good, no winces of pain, no impressions of Roger Moore stuck up from due to a kill. That's always good. Actually, like, in my prime position, I'm just under 6 foot, about 5'11". It's okay. The rear windows are a little bit on the small side. It means the car looks a bit sportier, I suppose. It does need a bit of a clean, this car, and some final preparation before it goes on sale to before it goes to a customer. But actually, it's done okay. It's about 91,000 miles on this. It's quite a high mileage for the year, but I'm sure that'll be fine. Cup holders down there, massive storage bins either side. No dark headlining, which I approve of. Right, I need to fish the dealer plate out of the boot. I'll do that separately, and we've got some curtain airbags as well. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I prefer the 5-door. The 5-door seems to be more popular than the 3 doors like this. Just the way the market is at the moment. We don't get any map pockets on the back of the seats. That's very annoying, isn't it, viewers? And no grab handles at the back. But actually, headroom is okay, considering the sloping roofline of this 3-door model. Headroom's all right, actually. It's definitely perfectly fine for carrying 2 people in here. If you were very friendly, you could get 3 in here. There we go. Right, viewers. Dealer plate is in the back, nice and secure. Door cards on this, they're quite nice long doors, so if you have any mobility issues and you need to get in and out of the car, this could be a very suitable choice. Dashboard's very different from a Corsa D. We don't have the same stalks, we don't have the same lighting controls, we don't have the same steering column. I think the steering column is out of all sorts of different Vauxhalls and Chevys and Opels at the time. Chevy Cruze that I used to have a similar one to this. So yeah, it's a nice flat bottom steering wheel. Wiper and indicator stalks, I think from tons of them, like your Chevy Cruze, Astra J, that kind of stuff. There's the lighting control down there. Those switches though I think are off a Corsa D. Most of them came with this little touchscreen down here. This particular car has heated seats and heated steering wheel, as well as a city button. So we'll be playing with a city button. It's probably not going to be very enjoyable for somebody like me to have it. I don't think you really need that most of the time. If you are someone who prefers really like steering in the city, you know, a lot of these cars were sold to first-time buyers, and some of them would like that, then it's there for you. Same as the Fiat Punto or Grandi Punto Evo, which actually was the sister car to this. They were developed in tandem, and they both came out in 2006 and were sold until sort of 18, 19. So we'll put the key in and start her up. I think we need to press the clutch down, so we'll just be juggling my hands and feet. There we go. I actually have to check the tyre pressures, and the tyre pressures are fine, so that might need a relearn or something like that. Nice little dial sweep there. Just get rid of this by pressing this button here. There we are, get rid of all that stuff. And then we can go through the sort of various things here. Average gas is 43.4, which is typical for this 1.4 turbo. We can have the digital speedo if you want it, which is quite useful. And we can change that section there for tyre pressure. It says it's 23. I don't think it is, to be honest. I don't think it is 23 psi on that. You can use it with material metric, so if you go over the continent you can change that. Tyre load light and all that sort of thing. There we go. Oil life remaining. It's going to need a service at some point before it goes to a customer. There we go. So we'll leave that alone now. We have all sorts of things here. We've got audio gallery, phone. Does that mean we get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay? Maybe. OnStar, which sadly doesn't work anymore. Got loads of different things on there. I haven't got a sat-nav in this particular car, but I don't think you really need a 2018 sat-nav in 2025. The steering wheel, do we need to put that on? Actually, it's a bit cold. We'll put that on. There we go. Heated steering wheel. We're in eco mode, so we can have a bit more power in non-eco mode. Are my secret mission documents going to go in? Well, no, because for some reason, this is before the involvement of PSA, later Stellantis, the fuse box hasn't been moved from left to right hand drive, so I don't think we're going to have those in there. I will double check for you, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to work. No. And no. Never mind, could be worse. So the manual's sitting down there because it doesn't fit in the glove box. It's rubbish. Quite small door bins for some reason. The doors are really long in this car. But there we go. Normal heating and ventilation controls. USB port is down there, which is good. Normal handbrake. Nice 6-speed manual. It's pretty good, you know. There's lots of things with this car that are very, very nice, actually. I prefer personally the interior of this to the Corsa F. I don't think the interior is as nice on those, but you know, that's up to what is now Stellantis and what's going on with them, isn't it? Right, let's turn off the engine and take a look under the bonnet, shall we? So this is a General Motors Family Zero engine, first introduced in 1996 in the Corsa B when it was facelifted. This was, I think, the final car in Europe to use it. And by the time this car was made in 2018, this 1.4 with various power outputs was the only engine available in the Corsa E. The more modern 1 litre small gasoline engine was not available anymore because I think the licence of it was expensive. Because 2017 marked the year that PSA bought Opel and Vauxhall, they had to pay General Motors every single time they built one of these cars with the engines, and I think these engines were a bit cheaper to license than the new small gasoline engines. Why they reduced the range just to 4 different variants of this. This particular one is a 1.4 turbo with 99 horsepower, which is fine. You can see the old General Motors or filler cap there. One thing I would be aware of when buying one of these with this 1.4 is the propensity for timing chain issues, and that can lead to all kinds of other problems as well. These can blow head gaskets as well. The Corsa Ds, which were the early version of this car, those are very well known for timing chain problems, and actually there's a kit you can get to fix them. These are better, particularly if you service them regularly. They don't have so many issues with the timing chains, probably because the engine's been slightly redesigned, and also these are a bit newer than the Corsa Ds. But I'd still be very wary of it. It still could happen. So just make sure you buy one of these quite carefully in that way. Otherwise, there's not too much to say really. These aren't rusting like the Corsa Ds are at the moment. So yeah, steering is good if you leave it in the right position and don't use the city mode. Ride a little bit on the firmer side, but if you just had a standard one, I'm sure it would be fine. Vauxhall dealers all over the place, parts availability is good. Yeah, this car's pretty well equipped. Got cruise control in here, for example, parking sensors. So it's easy to see why somebody would actually just really a sort of default choice, really, have one of these or a Fiesta. Fiesta's probably fundamentally, if we're looking at the Mark 7 Fiesta, a slightly better car than this. But this is also quite good. Let's now look at some trim levels for the Corsa E viewers. We have the Active, the Black Edition, the Design, the Diamond, the Elite, the Energy, the Excite, the Griffin. So many of these. GSI, Life, Limited Edition like this one, the White Edition, the Red Edition, the SE, the SE Nav, the SRI, the SRI Nav, the Sting like we looked at last time, the Sport, and then 2 incredibly long ones, the SRI VX line and the SRI VX line Nav Black, and of course a VXR. So viewers, should you consider a Vauxhall Corsa E for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 as a sensible second-hand purchase? I don't see why not. The biggest problem with these cars is there's just a lot of them around, and some of them, like this one, are a bit on the sort of high mileage side, and they'll need a bit of attention. Generally, though, if you look after them, they shouldn't be too bad, actually. There were a lot of differences between this and the Corsa D, and these are fundamentally much, much better cars. It's just unfortunate that these timing chain issues are coming through again already, which means that the reputation of these will always be a little bit tainted. But they're nice looking, they're nice to drive. There's lots of engine options, lots of personalisation available. And yeah, this is your sort of thing, then I don't see why not. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below. And we shall see you again very soon for some more reasonably priced motoring.